Hello, everyone. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Insurance Untangled Podcast. I am Naren Arul Raja, one of the co-hosts of this podcast, dedicated to helping practices that are tangled up with insurance. We talk about topics that help you take more control and create a bigger and better future for you, your patients, and of course, your team members. Today, my guest is my dear friend and fellow co-host, Jordan Comstock.
Yo, what's up, man? How's it going?
Things are going great, Jordan. How are things? Any new updates?
Yeah, man, we've just doubled the size of our sales team, so that's keeping me busy. We grew it by like 130 something percent. So we got a lot more headcount here, which is fun. We're just preparing to scale Boom Cloud even further. So I'm excited.
That's great.
I'm excited for that change. And then we brought on a interim chief revenue officer, which is kind of cool to have that type of leader in my organization. It's going to be really fun the next little bit here. So that's what's new for me, man. And then just finishing up vacations for the summer, getting the kids ready to get back to school, all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah,
it's back to school, right? So it's coming up.
It's coming up. Yeah, I think in 2 weeks. So,
right.
At least for my kids.
That's awesome. Awesome, Jordan. Today, we're going to talk about an interesting topic, and it's titled Creative Membership Plan Offerings. So I think this is going to be a fun topic, partly because you are a very creative person. So I'm sure you have lots of ideas on how to be creative with membership plans.
Sure. Yeah.
Let's jump right in. Let's make it, a very practical podcast where they can get a lot of.
I like those. Yeah. I like practical.
So let's start at the beginning. I know most people know what a membership plan is, but in case there are a few who are not totally clear what it is, can you define it for us?
Yeah. So I'll talk about that, and then I'll say, what the reason or purpose of why you should have one. And then we'll talk about the benefits. But, what is a membership plan? Think like Amazon Prime, but built for dentistry, where patients pay a monthly or yearly subscription fee in exchange for benefits and savings for the office. They're wonderful ways to attract new patients, right? So it's a marketing strategy. They're great ways to retain patients and even convert patients off of insurance. And it's a great way to really help your practice thrive day to day, month over month, right? The reason why you would want to create a membership plan is because, well, those three things, right? It helps with marketing, helps retention, it helps with cash flow or recurring revenue. And I would say it influences, based off of what I've seen over the years of helping practices scale membership plans, it helps influence restorative care and getting patients to say yes to treatment, which is probably the most powerful piece of the membership plan. But that's what it is. So think like Amazon Prime, subscription dentistry, where patients can just choose your office and commit to your office. So that's the gist of a membership plan.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I agree with many of those benefits, especially the cash flow benefit, the marketing benefit, and of course, it's a retention benefit, right? Because when they're on a membership plan, they're going to show up for their appointments, and they're going to.
And if they don't, the money still keeps flowing. No, yeah. So to go a little more depth in the benefits, recurring revenue is king, right? When it comes to operating businesses, and that's exactly what a membership plan does for your practice. It also helps you have a robust retention strategy or tool in the office, where a lot of practices, if a dentist buys a new practice or an existing practice from another dentist, there's a lot of patient attrition when that happens, because we don't want to go to the new guy, we like the old guy, right? When you have a membership plan, those transitions make it a lot easier, for the new practice owner to come into the office and make sure the patients are retained, because patients are on a plan. It's really important that way. And then if you think about it, you're really attracting the most loyal type of patient, which is really cool, because if you look at all the personas of patient types in your practice, one of the best patient types is somebody who's going to commit to paying you monthly or yearly subscriptions and be part of your membership program and not be working with insurance, right? And be, a sense of cash paying or a fee for service paying patient. So that's why I like, one of the biggest benefits is just getting targeted on your patient personas, which is a marketing function, right? And the same thing with attracting those types of patients to your office through your membership plan. You just attract the right type of patient that generates cash flow and recurring revenue, that says yes to treatment and then doesn't work with insurance. So you get, that's the core of why a membership plan is, benefits in office. And then on the patient side, patients save money. They feel like they're taken care of. It's easier to understand the pricing of a dental office when they're on a membership plan, right? They know what they're getting for what they're paying for. It's not just a big question mark, right? So that's why on the patient side, it's beneficial as well.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Let's go and talk about the different types of membership plans. And I know there are all kinds of types. People can pretty much make anything they want, but being the CEO of Boom Cloud, helping hundreds, if not probably 1,000+ practices with membership plans. Let's go through the top 5 types, right? Like in your experience, where people have the most traction, most success in terms of different types of membership plans. Maybe why don't we talk about, I'm sure every practice offers this, like a preventative care plan, right? Where it's hygiene first, right? Meaning you get 2 cleanings. Can you expand on that? How do you set it up? What's the pricing? And what's your experience? Is that like the anchor plan for all practices?
Yeah, I think that's the most common. I mean, based off of the data we see, that like a preventative care membership plan that focus around hygiene and preventative care, that's the most common, which is great because you got a hygiene department to make it, into a recurring revenue stream, when you have a membership plan. That's really the most common out there. And what that looks like is, a patient may get a couple free cleanings, some exams, x-rays, and then discounts off of restorative care if they need it. It's pretty basic. So that's what you see across the nation. It's funny because I would say that's the core offering that we see all the time here at Boom Cloud. What we're starting to see, and we're approaching our platform, we've helped, or we'll be helping like over 100,000 patients on membership plans.
Wow.
Right, by the end of this year. That's our projection. And that keeps growing more and more the more patients we work with, right? And I feel like we're just scratching the surface, right? With how we help both patients and practices. But if we look at some of the creative ideas that we've seen out there that are always interesting, I love innovation. I love creativity when it comes to really anything in business. But with membership plans, we've seen unlimited whitening plans like start coming out, and people start practices offering those to their patients, which is kind of interesting because you can attract both insured and uninsured patients on a whitening membership plan.
How much how would you price the whitening plan versus
it really depends on what type of whitening you offer, right? Some practices will have like in-chair whitening with the light, right? Others just do like whitening kits. There's many ways to do whitening. So the answer, it depends on how do you do whitening, or how do you offer whitening currently in your office? And I would say what I've seen are the little kits that they come in and they just keep getting refills. But I've also seen practices. I think it's I can't remember what the name of the machine is, where the light that they cure the teeth, that the patient has to come in and sit in a chair. So it also matters how many chairs you have in operation, right? So if you're going to do it that type of way. But what we've seen pricing wise, that ranges from like $15 to $35 a month for unlimited whitening. And we've seen practices that's all they've offered, and they've built an entire business. They don't offer restorative care. They just offer a whitening membership plan, which is interesting. This office that is here in Utah, they have multiple locations. It's in Utah, Colorado, just kind of regionally over here. And they offer, I think they're called We Whiten. They offer a whitening subscription plan. That's all they do. and they've generated multi locations, and they have thousands of patients on their membership plans, which is really interesting and very creative because they're taking one aspect of dentistry and creating a business model out of it,
Right.
a multi-location business model. But I mean, the beautiful thing about that is most of our listeners are probably, general practitioners that have an office that they can just offer some type of whitening membership plan to their insured and uninsured patients.
Let me ask you
Right.
this. I'm going to go a little bit deep into this, but
Sure.
before I ask a question that's in the back of my mind, I just want to park it for a minute. And that question is like, how long do they last? I assume the hygiene membership plan, they'll be there forever, but whitening, is that something that people are there forever, or are they there for like a couple of years? I don't know. So I'll get to that later on. But
Sure.
before I do that, I just want to kind of talk about membership plans that are, targeting a niche need, right? For example, perio or dentures.
Yeah.
Let's say people who are wearing dentures, right? Denture maintenance plans. Can you talk about that? Like our practice is doing it, and
Yes.
provide more details, like, what's the pricing, what's included in a perio plan versus denture maintenance plan,
Yeah.
how much would it cost, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. So perio plans are probably the most common, like niche offering within the membership plan space, right? Most patients need some type of perio maintenance, and sometimes I mean, most of the patients that need them don't have dental insurance because they're older patients that have retired or about to retire. So what we've seen in our with our practice base is they get a patient will pay anywhere from like $50 a month to, I mean, we've seen like $85 a month, sometimes $100 for perio maintenance, where they get their 4 cleanings included a year, and then they get discounts off of restorative. And it's very similar to the like the hygiene plan, the Profi plan is what a lot of patients or practices call it. It's very similar to that, but it's just focused on perio maintenance, right? And it gets patients.
So do they get more cleanings, for example, like, or
Yeah.
is like more deeper cleaning, so it's a little bit longer an appointment?
Yeah,
And
so you can structure those a couple ways. You can include all 4 of the cleanings or in the plan, or you can say your first 2 cleanings you get X discount, and your next 2 cleans you get a bigger discount, right? I've seen both ways. I like to keep it simple and say just include the cleanings in the pricing, in the subscription pricing. That's what I recommend, because it's just easy. You don't have to explain tiers to the patient. That can get confusing.
These perio patients, do they stay on that plan forever, or is it like typically like a couple
Yeah,
of years and they go back to the normal?
I would say perio plans and like hygiene, like the just regular hygiene plans,
Yeah.
you get more evergreen type patients, meaning they stay on for as long as they're with your practice, right? As long as they're alive,
Got it.
or until they switch, right? But hopefully your practice is doing everything they can to make them want to stay with your office.
Right.
But yeah, those plans are evergreen. I would say even a denture plan, and that what that looks like is a denture plan is dentures. A lot of people don't know this, but dentures, they have a lot of maintenance,
Yeah.
right? They need relines every so often. They break. I mean, I used to manage my dad's dental lab. That was one of the main services we offered is relining dentures, fixing the teeth that break or anything like that, right?
Right.
Because when you don't have teeth, right, everyone knows your mouth starts to change. So we do see a lot of practices offering denture maintenance plans for their patients, and that's definitely a segment of their patient base. But I think it's really smart to tailor membership plans for your types of patient in the office, right? Your preventative hygiene plans are going to really encompass the majority of your practice. Perio is going to be the segment of your practice that's under perio maintenance. Whitening plans are for people that just want really nice cosmetics, right? And maybe what you can do there is have an unlimited whitening plan. They can come in and then they get discounts off of like veneers and like cosmetic dentistry, right? If you're a more cosmetic focused dentist, that is, right? And then I would say, then you have your denture patients that need their care and their maintenance. Turn it into a subscription, and that ranges too, depending on the practice, from I would say $50 to $100 a month, depending on where the practice is, right? The key to having a successful membership program is understanding your demographics of patients and their median income, and then figuring out how to set up the price based off of the median income in your area, right? And your offerings, right? So if you're in a low income area, you just want to offer like what is called a discount only plan, where they pay like $10 a month, $15 a month, and they get 20% discount off of all your services, right? There's no cleanings.
Benefits.
Yeah, you can do that, or you can do maybe a subscription plan that covers the hygiene, but you're only doing a smaller amount of discounts or a larger amount of discounts. It's really up to the practice, right? Depending on your demographics, so that's why you want to get creative with it and think, okay, what are the buckets of patients that I have, the personas of patients that are in my practice, or even the ones that I want to attract, and how can I create a membership plan to attract and retain those types of patients? So maybe you're really good at perio, working with perio patients. So create a really attractive perio plan and start promoting that to your local area and attract those types of patients. So that's really all it is getting really creative on the personas of patients that you want to attract or that are existing in your practice.
Got it. So, I just want to summarize what I heard you say in terms of some recommendations, and I want you to kind of tweak it. So, of course, you're saying every practice should have a preventive plan, a hygiene, right? And
Absolutely.
then you're also saying, if possible, include some discounts in it. So, hey, you have this plan, you come in for your cleanings, and if you have other things and all the other services will give you, let's say 10%. Is that a fair discount you would add to that preventive plan?
Yeah, I would say 10 to 20% to 25%.
Okay.
That range. I mean, really, it's the beautiful thing about membership plans is the practice's decision on what they want to discount.
Right.
And they all work. The discounts.
Like, is that a benefit to offering, let's say 25% versus 10%? Meaning, will you get that much more people or versus not?
I mean, I would always A/B test it within my patient base.
Got it.
And I know our good friend Gary Takis has done this in the past, where he's tested like a 10%, a 15%, and a 20%, and everyone converted on the 10%. So he's like, why do the 20% when everyone converts on the 10%? Which I agree with, but it really boils down to testing and understanding, what people are willing to pay in your practice, right? And I know where Gary, his office is, and if that's his demographic, then sweet. He's really refined his membership plan for his demographic. And that's really all it is, right? We can talk about generic and basic recommendations here, but it's really understanding your patient personas in your practice and tailoring, plans and pricing to them. That's really how I think about this. It's because every location is different.
Right. Then I heard you say if you have a perio practice and let's say a lot of denture patients, you could offer that because you want that group of people, or you already have that group of people.
You have that group of people, and that's your expertise, right? Even if you're a general dentist and you're doing perio stuff, that may be your strong skill set, right? As a practitioner. So also focus on what your skill set is, right, and what you're good at. But yeah, the discount or perio plans and denture plans are popular from. If I needed a denture, I would sign up for some type of denture plan.
Perfect.
I'm glad I don't have a denture, because that sounds really annoying.
Right. And then last but not least, if you're in a demographic where it's really price sensitive, then just a discount only plan makes sense.
Yeah, you can do a discount only plan, and keep in mind, like, let's say you sign up 1,000 patients on a membership plan. That doesn't mean that 100% of them are going to come into the office one day and need restorative care or whatever you think, right? There's a percentage of patients that will pay, but will probably never ever come in, but continue to pay the subscription, right? So there's some benefits of that. I think that the stat is 52% of patients utilize their membership plan. The other just kind of let it sit and pay for it. So that's something to consider too, is that not 100% of patients will utilize this. But when they do, it does act as a way to increase case acceptance.
Right. And the whitening plan, is that a good way to drive cosmetic cases?
I think so, because you're attracting patients that care about their smile and how
Smile.
they look, right? So
Right.
I think if you're wanting to focus on cosmetic dentistry, you have some type of whitening focus plan. You could even include some type of whitening benefit in your preventative care hygiene plan. Right? I've seen
Got it.
both. You can merge the two together if you wanted to.
Hmm.
So I mean, play with it. You may like it separated
Right.
and making it an add-on, or you can include it and with your preventative care plan and offer a really attractive offering to your patients.
Thank you so much. I learned a
Yeah,
lot today, as always, Jordan. This is a wonderful conversation about creative membership plan offerings. So Jordan shared with us, you know, the bread and butter, the hygiene plan, preventive plan, plus all the other options. So thank you, Jordan, for that.
yeah,
And before I wrap up, I know there is a resources section on Insurance Untangled, and you can go and grab resources from Jordan about membership plans, or you could definitely go to boomcloudapps.com. That's the website, right?
absolutely. Yep. Boomcloud.com or boomcloudapps.com. Both domain names will take you there. But yeah, we've got books on how to grow, $1 million membership program. We talk about the different types of membership plans that you can offer and how to get the word out, which is the biggest, I would say, the biggest challenge for practices is they don't know how to get the word out as much. And once you figure that out, you can have a very attractive membership plan, not only for your patients, but that funds and fuels your business from a recurring revenue standpoint. So go to boomcloud.com and you can go to our free ebook section and download all of our resources for free.
Absolutely. We'll put the link on show notes. Go to the podcast, insuranceuntangled.com, find this episode on creative membership plans, and all the resources that Jordan is talking about. We'll make sure that you can easily get to. Or just like Jordan said, go to boomcloudapps.com or boomcloud.com. It's really easy to navigate. Just go to the resources section. Also, they can book a meeting, right, Jordan, with one of your
Yeah,
team members
you
to.
can book a demo, and our software helps practices create, organize, and scale dental membership plans. So you can schedule a demo and see how our software can help your practice create and grow your membership program.
Thank you so much, Jordan. Really appreciate it. And I also want to take a minute to thank our listeners. We cannot do what we do without you. So, hey, if you enjoyed this episode, write a review for us, or share it on social media. That would help other people find us. We have been consistently growing, so it's thanks to you. Till we meet again on another episode of the Insurance Untangled podcast. Have a wonderful week.